Welcome to Comics and Beyond. I'm Amy. We're joined by Foxy and Kayla is back. How are you?
Hello.
We all good in the hood?
All good in the hood, yeah.
How's lockdown 2.0 suiting us all?
Oh, it's better than the last one. At least we know what we're expecting this time.
We got a glimmer of hope today.
Yeah, did we?
Yeah. So Pfizer are currently conducting a test, and they've submitted their interim results.
Yeah.
And they've come back with 90% success rate.
And
okay.
by the end of the year, Ireland would be looking at getting 2 million doses. Actually.
No,
okay.
So it's 50 million doses by the end of this year, and then 1.2 billion.
That's what I was thinking. By the end of next year. Yeah.
All right.
So yeah. So hopefully, one of the side effects.
That's the light at the end of the tunnel there.
Well, I'm hoping for a side effect, and the side effect I'm hoping for would be a slight mutation, because today we are talking about X-Men.
Very good. I like that.
We didn't plan that. That
was a good one.
No. That worked out really well. I'm very proud of us, guys. So we're going to be doing, as always, with Comics and Beyond, and we're going to be discussing the X-Men today. So I have decided that I'm going to take on a specific role in Comics and Beyond. I haven't consulted the rest of you with this, but I mean, this is how I've decided I'm going to do it, because I was lazy and I had a house emergency, so it kind of stopped me from doing anything else.
You always seem to have some sort of emergency.
Oh, here, living up in the attic is horrific. Right? Because
I wouldn't even go into our attic.
The water tank is like literally in a cubby hole, and all our Christmas decorations are kept in there, and some of the Christmas decorations must have got shoved against it, because now there's a massive leak.
Oh,
I can't use plug sockets in the room, because we have to wait until we have an electrician in.
Great.
Lockdown 2.0, yeah. So that's why I'm in a different darkened surrounding, but I do actually have a house.
With a massive echo.
I know, it's horrific, isn't it? It's fine. Well, I'm sure our producer will be able to fix something on it. But anyway, so we're going to discuss the X-Men on this one, okay? So the role I've decided to take on this, I'm going to do the background, then we'll move in. Okay. The only things I got the notes on, okay? So we're starting in 1963.
Story with Amy.
Once upon a time in 1963.
So
stuff went down.
Shit happened. Everything just went to hell. I don't know what
died. That's
yeah, but like it's basic. So if we're going in by what the actual comic book series, it's the comic book excellent ongoing anyway at this point. Most of the ones that we're going to do now is going to be, but the X-Men themselves have actually. They actually started in 1963. Okay, so they went through various kind of incarcerations through it, but that's kind of starting on in the whole one. That's starting it from a whole even on it. The first actual series, which would have been the Uncanny X-Men, was in October of 1978, and that would have been then when we finally got what the actual X-Men were. But then in 1991, there was a second companion series that debuted, and actually marked time there was more than just one X-Men series was published. So like an ongoing kind of thing. So like the way like Iron Man would be, it's one kind of continuous thing. This was always done as a series of comics as opposed to just a weekly kind of edition sort of situation. Excuse me. The publication history on this one actually, so as I say, it's a bit different the way they do this tonight. So you weren't looking at numbers 1, 2, 3, 5 sort of situation. Everything on this one for X-Men is always done in volumes. So I think the most recent volume was 2009 volume 5. I think as of the 21st of October last month, that's like when we're into version or volume 5 of X-Men. So do you actually, have you bought, either of you actually bought the X-Men comics?
Yes.
I think I have 2.
Probably. I'm sure I have more than 2, maybe 3.
I'll be honest,
I have like 1 or 2, I think.
But yeah, like with the comics, my taste kind of scattered a bit. Like I do base it off the artwork.
yeah.
Like if I really like the artwork, that's what'll make me actually buy it. But no, like, and they vary in generations. So like one of them I have is from like the 90s iteration, like from the TV show,
Yeah.
like the cartoon. Like it's that iteration of them. The other one is probably like later on, like 2000s, where like Cyclops is a fucking looks like a weirdo, like a gimp, more than usual. But like,
Don't
yeah,
name
it
him.
jumps like, and then you get the real classic one where he's like in his full gimp suit. So I think the 90s iteration was actually perfect for him.
I think it works. The 90s works better, I think.
Yeah.
Some things that like I don't know if it's a nostalgia type thing, but like 90s also always kind of seem to resonate in a sense with those ones. I think they had the better looks, plus everything kind of came out then as well. Like
Yeah.
have everything kind of like really kind of comes into its own, because it's something that you can't really do in like the 70s and the 80s, whereas the 90s it just like kind of really was the forefront for them in a sense. You talk about like the TV series, like it gets
Like
out to a wider audience then.
Yeah, like it. Like
Do
I don't know
anything
what
in-
it is.
Yeah.
Like I think the 90s was a absolute fantastic time for Marvel in regards to their cartoons that they were releasing. I mean, they had several on the go during the 90s.
Mm.
Yeah, I had a lot of them.
Like it wasn't just X-Men. You had like Fantastic Four, Hulk,
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man. Spider-Man was one of their bigger ones as well. Like Iron Man as well. But like they were doing so well, and I think because like growing up in the 90s, like it just resonated more. It's like that's the X-Men to me, that's Iron Man to me, like those iterations, as opposed to later on.
We will get into the later on.
Yes, we will. Like
some scary shit's coming our way, guys. So if we're if you were I'd say so we're very kind of versed in with regards to the actual originals starting for the comic books on this one. The only comics I actually owned with regards to X-Men, and it links into a character. It links into an X-Men, which would have been Deadpool. Was actually Deadpool versus. Do you remember the Deadpool versus series? And the Marvel
he
Zombies.
went versus against everybody.
Yeah. So when it was Deadpool versus Marvel Zombies, I think it was actually the first one. I only actually got the ones that had the X-Men in them because they were the funniest ones that they did with it, because he rips into them so much. Like it's brilliant to have a character that's so self-aware but also will go along with the joke sort of thing as well. Like he's in on the joke that he is a comic book.
Yeah, he breaks the fourth wall on everything.
That one I really liked.
You mentioned that I found something yesterday, and in '98 they made a crossover comic with Star Trek: The Next Generation and X-Men.
Really?
In it, they made a reference between the resemblance between Professor X and Picard, and then 2 years later, your man plays
Patrick Stewart actually.
Fantastic!
That's amazing. That is beautiful.
I thought that was very good.
I like that. Now that's
talk about foreshadowing.
To be fair, who else would you actually hire to be Professor X realistically?
Yeah.
Well, they hired fucking James McAvoy, so yeah, and we had to wait years for him to get bald.
That doesn't count.
He shaved his head for the first one, and he didn't have to. Yeah, he got so excited for being cast as Professor X, he went ahead and shaved his head and didn't realize he was playing a younger version.
Ah.
Well, for all we know, male pattern baldness happened very early in his life. I mean, who are we
Yeah,
to
but
judge?
I'm pretty sure in one of the comics, Professor X lost his hair as he started mutating.
Yes,
Yeah.
it
Yeah.
was actually linked to his powers.
Yeah.
Like it
So-
was just the unfortunate. Like they kind of delved in it later on, like with the movies, where his powers actually affected his nervous system. So that's why he was slowly like losing his ability to walk, and then eventually
Yeah.
ended up in the chair. So they touched on that slightly in one of the films, and then in like First Class they did a different direction with it as well,
Yeah.
like where it's an accident.
Yeah, he gets shot in the spine.
Yeah,
Mm.
like it was inconsistent, but at the same time it was like doing a subtle nod to the comics, like different like backstories.
I
Yeah.
think it's as well though, as well as like having a character like being shot in the spine. It's more like there's a redemption arc there as well. And there's another something else from to overcome, and it's like more movie wise, like they kind of have to do stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's more kind of realistic in movie terms as well.
It's one of those things though as well. It's like if you're born, majority of a mutant, you're born with mutation. Like in which is it Wolverine?
Wolverine Origins.
Might be the origin one. Is that the one that had Liev Schreiber in it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So in that one, obviously Wolverine has that. He's from quite a young age. He has this, and the reason why he figures out he has this because he gets really, really angry. It's like imagine Professor X got his entire fucking life, and then only into his like mid-20s, later early mids, like to early, he's like, oh my god, to read this girl's mind this entire time. I didn't have to be so long. Like it's those types. I prefer
we'll talk on that later. We'll talk on those kind of things later.
That's why I kind of prefer rather than just say if you're gonna go with either of the stories, then yeah, go with him being shot in the back, and that's why he no longer has
the back or
slowly
losing
kind of.
because your powers you're losing your ability to walk.
Yeah.
I'll take
shot in the back.
I'd rather be shot in the back. Well, I wouldn't prefer either of those things, to be honest with you. But like,
don't like to be shot in the back.
I wouldn't like to be shot in the back, but I mean, if there's two options on it, I'll take being shot in the back. That I survive, and that my house is then going to be equipped for a wheelchair access.
Like obviously with the X-Men, like it's a group. Like first and foremost, it is a group of different mutants with all various different abilities, and obviously like different temperaments and like big personalities. The like obviously with the 90s we were introduced with we had the initial team, which was Cyclops, Jean Grey, Beast, Gambit, Rogue, Storm, Jubilee, and Professor X, and Morph as well. That was the initial team we were introduced to in the 90s series.
Who's your favorite in the initial team in the 90s?
Oh, Storm, definitely.
Gambit.
I'm a Gambit girl now, to be fair.
I do like Gambit as well. He was
Gambit.
good in whichever Wolverine he came into.
Gambit was cool. Like obviously, like later on because I'm a guy. Obviously, Rogue was the one that I became attracted to. Well, let's not get into that one.
Sorry, no, we are going to go into this, okay? Because the reason why is because I'm the exact same on this one. I was highly attracted to Gambit as a child. I was like, I love this man. Like that's what I was like. Yeah, I think if anyone's going to say who's your first celebrity crush, Gambit from the X-Men. Oh,
Yeah.
he wasn't in the movie though until I never said the movie. I'm sorry, have you ever watched a cartoon with Gambit and that Cajun accent? Yes, please.
Did you see who's meant to be playing him for the next movie?
Yes.
No. Who?
Channing Tatum.
I knew about that, but like
it's not going to work.
It's not happening.
No.
Well,
he's in talks for a different character now.
Oh, is he?
Yeah.
And I'm kind of happy because he wouldn't suit the character
No,
at
It,
all.
as soon as they announced, I was like, no.
No.
Like
Your
you
man
can
who
be the
played
big.
him in Wolverine could come back and do it again.
Yeah.
Yes
what
and
was his
no.
name?
Like Taylor Kish.
Yeah.
Or Kirsch,
Thank you.
but
Tim Speed from Friday
You-
Night Lights.
you have
Did I just
like
look at my
if you
notes?
just give that
Tim,
scene,
oh my God.
like the initial scene where you're introduced to him in that film, that's good. That's Gambit. But like they basically just like forget about him. For the
Yeah,
rest
he's
of the
not in it
film.
enough.
Yeah.
He should have been in
It's
a
like-
hell of a
No,
lot
he's
more.
yeah.
So it's very hard to
There
get a
was
proper
an
gauge on
idea.
is he good at this or not.
There was an idea of actually doing a Gambit movie though. It's single set off movie as well.
Yeah,
Which
that's
originally-
why Channing Tatum was in for that one.
Yeah,
That's-
but I think
that's
I'm
who
nearly
we got.
sure Taylor Kish was originally actually going to do that one, and then he ended up doing a different movie for Disney instead.
Yeah, it was
John.
John Carter.
John Carter.
John
That's it.
Carter. Yeah, and that's what put the whole kibosh on him. Poor bastard.
Well,
Ruined it for everyone.
to be honest, like he kind of saved himself as well because, like, let's face it, Wolverine Origins was bad.
It was, but it wasn't going to. It's one of these things. It's like it might have been a bad movie. It still made a hell of a lot of money for them. It doesn't
Oh
matter
yeah,
how shit your movie is. It's a known franchise that people are still going to go and flock to.
Mm.
Like it's the same with every X-Men movie. There's probably maybe like 2 good ones. Everything else is shit with movie wise.
Okay, well, if like because we're going through the 90s, like 90s show is just it's fantastic. It touches on a lot of subjects that like even to this day is still like damn, like that shouldn't hit true like now even. Do you get me? Like with
Yeah.
some of the topics, but obviously, like as we as we're getting closer to like the 2000s, we had the announcement of a film, like the first live action film being done,
First
I mean-
Marvel movie I've ever seen.
and the casting for it was very good. I mean, you have like big heavy hitters to play like the main guys.
You see,
I mean,
you have
you have Patrick Stewart as Professor X, who didn't really need much fucking doing up to look like the fucking Professor X.
Not at
Let's be
all.
honest.
no.
And then you also have like Ian McKellen as Magneto.
Perfect.
How good of a pairing is that?
Yeah.
It is a match made in heaven. Let's not lie. It
They were
really
originally
is.
meant to be brothers in the comic.
Yes, they were. They were originally supposed to be, but obviously it was changed, and someone else got that spot instead. Yeah.
No, didn't
Uh,
Wolverine and Sabretooth get that spot?
Yeah.
no.
They were only half brothers though, aren't they?
Ah,
Or
still,
something like that.
they were.
Juggernaut. Juggernaut is
Yeah, Juggernaut.
X's half brother.
His stepbrother.
Mm.
It's his stepbrother. They grew up together.
You know what it's like, man. You got to keep it all in the family. That's basically what it is in some of these things. You got to keep it all in the family because it would make more sense.
You want to talk about keeping it in the family? Like, let's fucking talk about like Mystique.
Now
fucking tied
she's
to
just
them.
on a whole other
She's-
level.
She's tied to the majority of them.
Yeah, I found out that it's Nightcrawler is her son, and apparently she's the mother of Rogue.
She's the adopted mother of
Or his
Rogue.
adopted mother, is it?
Yes.
She gets
Like-
around.
Yeah.
Well,
But she's also the mother for several others as well. But they're not like majorly important to take note of now.
Magneto got around as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's got Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch, and then there was Polaris is another one.
Yeah.
I'm
And then he
kind
had,
of
like,
annoyed
7 others.
over that one. I'm annoyed
What?
over the Quicksilver Silver Witch one.
Because he got killed.
No, because you've two different franchises. Or sorry, correction. You've got the same franchise with 2 different companies
Universes.
that have decided to use the same character, but do
The
it in 2
Marvel-
completely different ways.
They were
With the
only
legal
allowed to
battle
take.
that Marvel had, essentially like with Sony, Sony owned characters, Marvel owned their own characters, but there was a handful of characters that was in that middle ground that both could use.
But in those situations, don't both of you use them during the same time.
Yeah, but they got away with it because the Avengers killed their Quicksilver, and X-Men didn't have a Scarlet Witch.
Yeah, but they didn't need to kill him off, though. That's the whole point. If you're only going to use him just to kill him off, what's the point in using him to begin with? When you can do so many other things with him. It's literally used just for the sake of using
Scarlet Witch. Like it was to bring her up, basically, and change her motivations.
Change her from the bad guy to the good guy.
Pretty much.
I still think they could have done a different way of doing that. It just annoys me because I preferred the Marvel version of Quicksilver than I do Sony's version. Yeah.
Oh, no way.
I'm happier with Kick-Ass. I'm happier with Kick-Ass than I am with Murder House.
As you say, fucking like Kick-Ass, like, have you seen him recently?
Yes.
He's a tank.
He's massive.
Like, fucking Kick-Ass will fucking kick your ass.
Yes. Like, can you imagine what he would like? No, imagine what Aaron Johnson would have been like had they not killed him off. He would have been fucking shoving Hawkeye aside.
They still could bring him back.
They won't though. I don't think they will.
Why?
Because they've already pulled the trigger on it. There's no point to doing it now. Because at this point now, if they decide to kind of just pull back and start bringing all the characters that have died off, and just start bringing characters back in.
Yeah, where did it stop?
You're taking the piss then with your audience.
Yeah, where do you stop though?
Why bother get people emotionally invested in one thing if you're just going to completely undo that entire case of emotion and go WWE on it and just pretend something never happened and then just go back the other way?
Well, like...
Speaking of the WWE, do you know the actor who played Sabretooth was a wrestler?
Yes.
Yeah, Nitro.
Yeah, I'm nearly sure as well. He
Tyler
Mane or something.
Tyler Mane, yes, he's also
he played
Michael Myers in Rob Zombie's Halloween. Yeah.
He did well for himself.
He did very well for himself.
He's huge. Like, have you ever actually seen him in a proper movie where he's not like in any outfits or anything? So he's like massive. He's in a new movie with John Cena and he's huge.
Yeah, it's quite intimidating. That's actually what I love about the character that they had Sabretooth with the movie was he was actually very intimidating when you first see him. He looked so good and then they kind of ruined it.
He was hired as the stunt man. And then when the director seen him, he was like, yeah, no, cast member straight out.
Because like, he did really well. And then they kind of, again, when it came to Wolverine Originals, they kind of did a bit of a blunder on it. Can we actually skip over Wolverine Originals when we're talking about this?
Sure. Like obviously,
we'll make one reference to it, and that'll be it.
With the first film, like as I said, with the casting was very good. You also had newcomers, unknowns like Hugh Jackman, who fucking excelled in that role. Like it was basically just like, who is this guy? Like, we have to take a look at him, basically.
He wasn't meant to get it.
No, he wasn't.
No. I have it here. So Russell Crowe was given the part and he said no, turned it down and told him about his friend, Hugh Jackman. He still didn't get it. Doug Gray Scott got it instead. And he then pulled out to star in Mission Impossible 2. And then they got Hugh Jackman in. And he came into it 19 days into production.
Which is crazy. Like.
Honest to God, though, that is, I think, probably the best casting that you'll ever see.
We were so close to not getting Hugh Jackman as Wolverine.
No,
he impressed so much that he stayed with the franchise for 17 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he was set for life thanks to that.
He was too tall, though.
Yeah, that was his big downfall in being as close to the character as possible.
I will happily ignore that. I will happily ignore that fact.
I know you would. Because you're a big Dort.
And
I can't help it if a tall boy works in my favour, okay?
your man who played Cyclops was smaller than Hugh Jackman and Famke Jensen, who played Jean Grey.
Yeah.
And in
What
their
is his
scenes
name?
together, he had
James
to stand in a
Masterson?
box.
Is it James Masterson?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I couldn't think of his name. Yeah, he had to stand on a box in his scenes with Wolverine and Jean Grey because he was so small. Like, how embarrassing is that?
That'd be like
Like-
me.
Imagine like just like for the
Hang on
you
now,
can
we get your
imagine
box.
some of
Here
the
you go.
that's the thing is you can imagine some of the outtakes like when they first started recording and they were just like something's just not
Not
like
right.
measuring up here at the moment.
Something's
Something's
not
just not right. Someone just put them on a pallet. No,
Yeah.
put them on another pallet.
Or have him standing in
Give him a
this.
few phone books.
Yeah. It's like, do you need a booster seat, James?
The poor bastard. I'd say he got the piss taken out of him.
You had like you had Halle Berry as well as Storm.
Halle
Now, in
Berry.
fairness, like who else would you put in that role?
No, she was brilliant. She was
Like-
she is just Storm, like.
Yeah,
It's,
like
you know that thing. It's even now, like if you were to cast those now, there's only two options I guarantee Hollywood probably would have taken for Storm if they were doing that now. And one would have been Halle Berry and the second would have been Beyonce.
Yeah.
That's honest to God, that is literally
Yeah,
it.
you're probably right.
Because two of them are massive names. Beyonce
Mm.
is trying to make her market. She's trying to break into more film roles. And I guarantee you with Sony behind it, considering I'm nearly sure she was a client of theirs anyway to begin with, they would have pushed Beyonce for that role.
Mm.
like I know that Beyonce has been in talks to be involved with an upcoming Marvel movie. More than likely it'll be Black Panther 2.
Yeah.
But as what character, I don't know.
Hopefully not a very big character.
It was heavily rumored that she was going for Storm, but then it was proven wrong. It was a different character she was going for. So, but
So
like
if we're looking back, so you've
like if you're looking at it, like Marvel don't like they have had a few missteps, but generally their track record has been fantastic in terms of casting.
Yeah,
Like-
definitely. Like, even throughout their whole movies, there's only been one or two of their superheroes who have been recasted.
Mm.
Like the Hulk is one.
Yeah,
He was recasted.
multiple
And then-
times.
Sorry?
Multiple times.
Yeah.
if Edward Norton wasn't as kind of
Anal
annoying
about
in the sense
stuff.
of about trying to be put more of himself sort of thing into a character or trying to basically make it more his view of things, he would have still been the Hulk in going forward. But because he was difficult to work with, they didn't want him for any more movies. Eric Bana, he didn't do a bad job.
No,
I just think the movie itself wasn't great.
Nah,
like
Lou
the
Ferrigno,
story
he's
for
the
it was
best Hulk.
terrible.
Yeah. So that's the thing is, like, if you have a bad story going into your actual movie, then you can straight away assume that your cast is not going to be returning. So you're punishing actors for something that's actually completely out of their control, which is a bit shit because Eric Bana wasn't bad. However, Mark Ruffalo is amazing. But he's also the only actor that actually is technically playing the Hulk in the Marvel movies. Everyone else
Yeah.
has just
Well,
been
no.
a CGI. He's in the motion capture suit. The other two didn't do that.
But like Ed Norton did actually was part of the MCU originally. So
But they replaced him. That was the point.
they not even replaced him.
Yeah.
But
So
like the Incredible Hulk still does fall into as the second film in the MCU.
Yeah, it's still cast as an MCU movie.
Yeah. So
it's very rarely actually thrown into the rewatches, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
I dunk on air now. I watched
Yeah,
it
see,
twice.
I've seen it twice.
I've seen it once, and I never have any intention about
Whereas,
having
like-
to see it again.
Whereas you would go back and watch Iron Man 1.
No.
Like
Do you know, actually, I'll
No,
be completely
I'm
honest.
not
I
a
actually
huge
can't remember
Iron
the
Man
last
fan
time I
at
went
all.
back. I actually can't remember the last time I went back to watch any of them that hadn't been Avengers. Like, honestly,
I
I
only
can't
watched the
remember the
first
last time I
tour the
went
other
back.
day.
Really?
Yeah, it was on
Jesus
telly.
Christ. Are we the X-Men? We're just this
Anyway,
range of different
yes.
types of people.
We digressed a good bit. Yeah, but obviously, like the casting was done really well. Some plot points for the first film, not great, but keep in mind, Marvel is still trying to find their.
Yeah, like they're
They're
trying
not
to.
involved in this.
See, the thing with this one is, I think if you're like based on like the first movie, it's like your first year at school. You're trying to find your place, but you're also getting to know everyone as well, sort of thing. And I think that's where they kind of did a good enough job, where it was a grand jumping off point in a sense of kind of, okay, we're going to establish who you're rooting for, who you don't want to root for, and who your little in-betweeners are in this one, sort of thing.
Yeah.
Because Rogue could have gone either way. Let's not lie, she could have gone either way.
Rogue could have been drastically
She annoyed
better.
me so much.
Yeah, it like they changed her her personality like completely, but like with it, like they kind of, at least there was a purpose for her later on in regards to Days of Future Past. Like there was a good reason for that, but that's a bit further ahead. X-Men 2 though is a fantastically done movie.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. I just personally think that we're all good.
Like you die
Last Stand.
like with it, like you don't have the boring like nuance of, all right, we have to establish
Yeah,
these
we already know
characters.
the characters.
Yes.
We know what they're doing.
And this one allowed you to just have a Wolverine-oriented story. But there was X-Men in the cast.
Yeah.
As well as new faces, which was good.
That's what you kind of want, though, as well. I think that's the thing as well. You kind of knew going in from the first one, okay, who your main character is in an ensemble cast sort of thing. And that's where Wolverine really does stand out.
Also, like, think about it, like, X2, that intro scene is brilliant. Like, with Nightcrawler.
Oh, he was so cool.
He's like
what way to introduce a character?
It is probably one of the better introductions for any type of character.
And it's a shame because, like, they kind of fucked him over, like, later on.
Just wanna hold on. Let me see if we can get this one here. So if we're going, okay, so let's see X2. So I want to just kind of very quickly remember the plots for it movie-wise. So the first one, you had Magneto.
Yeah.
And basically going a little bit Nazi.
He going crazy.
Right. So he wants to turn everyone into a mutant. That's fine. So no, it's the second one that I'm thinking of, and it's Stryker.
Yep.
Who went? It's Stryker. Sorry, who
wants to kill all mutants.
Wants to kill all mutants. And then what's the plot point for the third one? What was the plot point?
Third one is that they potentially found a cure, but
yes,
they basically were forcing mutants
people
to
take it. Okay, and because that kind of led to, why would you want to not be a mutant? Why is it when you look for you have to put X-Men beforehand? I did not realize there was another movie called The Last Stand.
Mutant and proud.
That's the thing though as well. Like, I mean, if you're like, would I want to take the cure if I was a mutant?
No.
Well, okay, to be fair, if I had if I had Rogue's powers, probably, yeah. Rogue movie powers, yeah.
You can deal with that. She was just a bitch about it, just because she wanted to get cool.
I think it was a case of like they didn't flesh her out like in giving her growth, where she learns to adapt to her powers rather than use as a hindrance. Like that is always the thing when you see Rogue. It's like I can't touch it and I can't do that and I'm useless. Like whereas like if you actually trained, you could use your powers better.
Yeah, it's like you just don't understand them correctly, and you technically are meant to be so much more.
Yeah, she
It's
was
actually- it is
cooler in the
slightly
comics and in the cartoons.
She was
a hell of a lot
so
cooler.
much cooler. Oh my god, she was so much better. Even her look wise was better.
Yeah,
Get me
that's
those
what
curls,
annoyed me so
girl.
much about her in the movies. She was just this little thing in the corner that just
Meek.
whinged all the time.
Yeah, it's like you're literally ruined probably one of my favorite comic book characters of all time by just being you.
Yeah.
Again, they changed her personality completely. Like from being this confident like Southern belle to a fucking like very timid like don't pay attention to me kind of person.
Yeah.
Like the only mutation that they actually deal with in the movie is basically absorption of life. That is the only ability that they actually take. No,
she had more than that.
No point, right? But at no point do they also do like abilities, memories, personality, and physical characteristics of other people. It's like there's so much more that she can do, but they only stuck with that. She also has superhuman strength, speed, durability, and she can fly.
No, they didn't put none of that into the movie.
That one was a different thing. Her flight was basically because she absorbed Captain Marvel.
Like, I don't give a shit. But like recently in the first episode. But here is though, in the first episode of the cartoons,
is that you also didn't get the relationship between her and Gambit.
Yeah, no, I knew that, but sure, he wasn't in him at all.
Like I know they proxied him by having Bobby, like Iceman.
Yeah.
Billion, but like even then it was still like
that's a poor replacement.
Yeah. It really is.
Oh god, that's so sad. It really is. I mean, there was so many things. There was so many ways they could have done the movie. There was so many different ways they could have done the movie, and they didn't. And that's kind of like what frustrates me in a sense with regards to when Sony or Fox are doing your movies, because they have a particular view of what a movie has to be and what a movie has to have, and that's fine. Whereas when Marvel are doing the movies, Marvel are like, well, we know these characters because we created these characters. We know what they can and can't do. We know how to keep the fans happy in a sense of keeping them on what they can and can't do. And that's what they did. Because with Last Stand, okay, it was how long then between the prequel? No, the prequel didn't come next. Sorry. Then it was Wolverine Origin. Was it Origin next? Oh my god, there was 2 of those movies. There was 2 Wolverine movies. There was technically 3 Wolverine movies.
So Wolverine
Origin is next.
Then it was First Class, and then it moved on. So he was the transition to the new generation, basically. Like
okay, so hold on a second. No, because I'm definitely trying to think. There was another one that was in Japan.
Yeah, that was the second Wolverine movie. That was just titled Wolverine.
Yeah,
the Wolverine.
Oh, was that just okay? So it was Wolverine Origin and then Wolverine.
Yeah, and then Logan.
Yeah, well, I can't wait to discuss that one. Okay, so you've had 2. There's been 2 quite shit movies then between The Last Stand and First Class, which Wolverine Origins, they could have done so much more with. They had an excellent character in that they completely banjaxed.
I don't think so, though.
No, really?
They opened us up to
really? Really?
I liked it.
You liked the mouth sewn shut, the CGI mouth sewn shut?
No, you see, now you're on about Weapon X. You didn't say that. You insinuated the whole movie. The last bit of the movie is shit.
Thank you. Okay. Right. So we're all in agreement that
funny
the
was
last
them
movie
having
is shit.
Will I Am with Nightcrawler's powers.
Like, it makes no sense.
Yeah, but they weren't in it for too long, They were in it for the first half hour, and then they were gone.
And if you played the Wolverine Origins video game, which is actually R-rated, like it's super violent, but they actually give you their idea that he hooked up with Mystique, and that's why Nightcrawler.
That's how they got Nightcrawler.
Yes.
Why would you not be
okay.
surprised that Mystique was involved again?
She's a dirty stop out, that one is.
Dirty batch. He's a dirty felted batch. So starting, okay, so the first one started off anyway. So you have the first movie was 2000, 2003,
2006,
2006, 2009. Okay, yeah. So the first, so Wolverine Origin or X-Men Origins Wolverine was 2009, right?
Yeah.
X-Men First Class came out then 2011. The Wolverine, that's the one I was thinking of. That was 2013.
Mm-hmm.
And then Days of Future Past is 2014.
14.
Apocalypse.
Brilliant movie.
2016. And then Logan was 2017. Yeah, so he's literally got 17. Like, Hugh Jackman did actually, in fact, get the 17 years out of it. Granted, he didn't have to do a movie every year, which was happy enough. Like, in that sense, that's just oversaturation.
Well, he's been Wolverine for 17 years.
Sorry, he's the only one that will ever be Wolverine. You can't.
Nobody can do it again.
No one. No. It's not like Batman or Spider-Man. You can't just pick and choose now someone else to beat that character.
Wolverine didn't actually come into the comics though until like 1984.
Yeah, he was not one of the originals at all.
His first appearance was actually in The Incredible Hulk in 1974.
So that's the thing though that I do like though about like with the X-Men sort of thing. So this is like, obviously it's an ongoing thing because like there's people born every single day, obviously. But like in an X-Men, I know, shocking, I know. But in the X-Men universe, that's actually an excellent kind of trope that you have on this one, is because not everyone is born a mutant, but there will be some mutants within every, like, let's say every 100 births or something like that, if you're like to put a number on it. So it is one of those comics where it doesn't matter if the originals are gone, you actually have enough material that you can continuously create to keep a new class going each kind of 20 or 30 years sort of thing, like for when someone like finally retires. So if you're basing like
that, we keep falling back onto the same characters because they're so beloved.
They are so good, but it's another thing though as well. It's like when you've got, like, this thing is when people have a good thing, they continue, like, why fix something that isn't broken?
Bad.
Yeah, but it's like, well, we have a winning formula, but like the thing with comics is like you don't really have like a set time zone or time frame unless you're doing something particular to that time period in time. So like the propaganda comics, for example, that we looked at before, obviously, okay, this now is a product of that particular time. But if like that's a once-off type thing, then you're grand. So like the way X-Men would work in this sense, if you continuously use the same characters over and over and over again, it kind of works because you haven't set it to, oh, well, this was in the 50s and now we're moving on to the 60s and this is what happened in the 70s. You're not doing it that way, which works really well in comics. That's the only way you can continuously keep something as the same and never have to change it without people getting sick of it. Logan, however, that was the past, and this is actually what these characters are like now. Yeah. And this is where we're at this one. So like for a character who was originally, well, okay, if we're going by like the Origins movie, who was around in the first, I was about to say the First World War, it wasn't, it was the Civil War that they have him fighting.
Yeah.
So you have an age range of Logan now.
How
at this
old
point.
he is.
So dude, so you're hitting at like the triple digits now technically at this point.
Yeah.
So like to move him on now, then to do
because
what
he was already a mutant before he got the adamantium claws.
Yeah, exactly.
He already had
he had all that sort of thing. So
whatever.
Yeah, so that kind of like that was already kind of put in place. So in the Origins movie for him, they actually they set this in a particular time frame to kind of give you to actually do his backstory, which is why I kind of I did like that in one sense. You're kind of like, okay, this does kind of flesh him out a bit more as to why he is the way he is, because of the horrors that he truly has seen and everything that he's already lived through, to then have to deal with this bullshit that like people are coming to him with now. But then when it comes to Logan, and like, I mean, this was I wouldn't even call this Logan a comic book movie. That's just a fantastic movie in itself.
Brilliant.
So it really, really is. It's
you
so
separate from everything.
Honest to God, it holds up so well on this, and the best thing about it is the different versions of it that they shot and they made. Like, did you ever watch the film noir version of it?
No, I haven't seen that version of it, but I know there was that version.
It's so good, because like when you're watching it as the way it was done, and like obviously in color and stuff, and you're fine, and you have like the characters that you know and what you're doing with it, and it works out really well. But then when you watch it as a film noir, you actually, it takes you out of things altogether. I don't know what it is, something about black and white, but it makes you feel like you're watching something completely different. And something about like even the violence and stuff that's in it as well, like when you're watching it, it kind of hits you a little bit more.
Okay, I may give it a go. I've never actually watched it.
I highly recommend watching the film noir version of it. I just think it's done really well. I really enjoy kind of just that in general. Anyway, I think it was like Logan was one of those movies. I think I watched it once, and I remember just bursting out crying at the end. I was like, I wasn't expecting this.
No, I don't think.
But
we
like,
can speak
I
about
wasn't. It's one of those things where you're not expecting it to hit you the way it hits you. And then when it actually does, you're like, what the fuck? Like, I was watching the Goonies earlier on, and there's a line in the Goonies where like literally Data says, don't worry about it, Dada, you can't hug a photograph. And I'm just like, why is that hitting me? Like, I was like, why is that hitting me so much in my heart right now? It's like, I wasn't expecting this.
Like, not only that, like, obviously it was the send-off for Hugh Jackman with that. And
yes.
But also it was the send-off for Patrick Stewart.
Oh, no, he shouldn't have died.
And that was one that was like, okay, how are they going to explain this? But even the story behind it, like, after all these years, it's Logan that's taking care of him. Logan is the one that's actually, like, this man who was considered the most powerful mutant is now the worst enemy to mankind now because of power, and he cannot control anymore. Like that's a fucking story. Like how you, and the way they tell it, like you can definitely tell, like, with the rapport between like Patrick Stewart and Hugh Jackman, like it does translate to the screen in terms of like, they've been friends like for long, so they're comfortable, they know what to do, but it comes across very genuine.
Yeah.
Care.
In Logan, do you know the character that's with them, Caliban?
Yes.
Did you recognize that character from another movie?
Yes.
Like the actor?
No, not the actor, because the actor was changed. The character, Caliban.
Caliban was in a different in another.
It was in Apocalypse. He's in it for like a split second in the background. When you meet Psylocke for the first time, he's the pale guy that's giving out the passports. Yeah. That's Caliban.
Honestly, God, never noticed that before.
Yeah, he's only in it, like, you don't even hear his name or nothing.
Fuck's sake.
Oh, you know, you do, because that's how I recognized it. And then when he comes into Logan, I was like, that character we've seen before, and I Googled it.
Yeah.
And Caliban comes into Apocalypse, but he's only in it for like a split second.
He's only like having that
background character
films as well. Like, we're taking elements from all the other previous films and we're using them to finish this story.
Yeah.
Like obviously, like you go from like X3, and then you go into, now we've talked about Origins a bit. We're not gonna go too much more on that, but you go into First Class, and it's a completely like new cast, with basically telling the origin stories of
everyone.
Of everyone.
I think they missed a beat on some of their casting on those ones.
Like some of the characters should have been. I think should have been in a longer because they would have been a good addition for later down the line. But I mean, the casting for it was very good though. I mean,
Yeah.
James McAvoy and like it, Michael Fassbender. Now
They work well.
they work very well together. Like they just managed to capture that same kind of energy that you would see Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen.
Yeah.
But like one of the flaws I find is like Michael Fassbender's accent, his Irish accent, PQ. My brothers, you have a choice.
You know what's fun? It's something I find very fun, very weird about Michael Fassbender as an actor is, I know he's Irish German, right? But even when he is speaking in an Irish accent, he doesn't have an Irish accent.
Yeah, but
Put it on too much.
You'd hear it.
It's like Christian Bale. He doesn't have a real accent anymore. Like Christian Bale is Welsh. Like he doesn't have an accent anymore. Michael Fassbender is like he does really well when he's doing the German roles. I say the German roles, but like if I use like Inglourious Bastards for an example, like when he's speaking in German
It's
and you
just
can hear the
shouting
German
things
twang, like you
angrily,
hear,
really, isn't it?
no, he spoke quite elegantly in Inglourious Bastards, but like it's one of those. I just noticed it, and I think it was on. I think it might have been on when he was on Graham Norton or something like that when they were like discussing one of the movies, and he was just talking, and it would go to Irish, like he'd have a hint of an Irish twang to his accent, and then all of a sudden it was just something completely different. I was like, what the
Yeah, but I suppose if you were like an actor your whole life and in your voice, you would lose your natural accent to a point.
Which that's fine. I will give that to Christian Bale. Like that's why I'll give Christian Bale like the bent. Like that's why I gave him a pass from that. He's been a child actor. Michael Fassbender has not been an actor his entire life.
Yeah, he's done for a while though.
For a while, but like Christian Bale's one of his first movies was like Newsies or Emperor of the Sun. So you're like, fun motherfucker should have been in a school uniform at that point. So yeah, Grant, he's worked consistently upwards. Like Grant, Gary Oldman is another thing. Gary Oldman's sister's on EastEnders, for Christ's sakes. You would not peg the two of them to be related.
Who the fuck is his sister on EastEnders?
Mo.
Fuck off.
That's Gary Oldman's sister.
You're joking.
No. Yeah. Check that shit.
I'd say family dinners are fun at that house.
Oh, sorry. Let me get my Oscar for you. Sorry, what's that? A National Television Award? Yeah, all right, love. I'm vegan. I'm carving the turkey this year.
Go back to the cobbles
Sit
there,
your
love.
ass. Go back to East End, all right?
That scene from Friends, him and Joey. It's acting.
Where's my wife picture in your bag, buddy? You need to pronunciate your P's.
You also
my favorite episodes.
I know, like with the obviously like James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender, but he also had like newcomer like with Mystique, like recast
Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah, Jennifer Lawrence.
Brilliant. She is so good.
He did a really good job, and then not long after that, she got cast for the Hunger Games.
Yeah.
And we know what happened there. Like she just took off.
See, this is the thing is she got. I find Jennifer Lawrence to be a bit overrated in a sense of what she can and can't do, and the reason why Mystique is so much in human form is because she didn't like doing the makeup. She didn't like the makeup. She's like, I don't like the makeup.
Reaction to it.
I don't think so, because there's two different versions of events of that.
Yeah, but I don't think I'd be happy sitting in a chair for 9 hours.
But like
being painted blue.
That's fine. That's fine. But that's the role you've signed on for. You've signed on to play Mystique.
Yeah.
And what's her name? Rebecca Romaine didn't seem to have the same issue with that one at all. She was happy to be playing the character Mystique in a franchise that she'd signed on for X amount of time.
Yeah, but they changed their makeup process for the next one, so she could do it. So she was in the blue form more often.
That's
By
why
the time we got.
That's why a lot of the scenes that you see in the newer films, like with the First Class onwards, she tends to be clothed, like in clothes, as opposed to her naked form. So you'll probably only see her blue face or blue hands. You won't see full body, which is like because she didn't want to do it, really.
Because the actress didn't want to do it. It's kind of a bit shit though, considering the character was originally so proud mutant. But an actress that they got for it wasn't as happy to do that. So we're going to alternate the character then to suit you.
Which is,
see what that's kind of the issue that I would have on it, sort of things. Like if you're signed
it
on,
worked though with the storyline, because considering Mystique grew up with Professor X in this version, it'd be a little bit hard to explain a little blue child running around.
See, that's it. I think that's kind of why I don't like. That's why I wasn't really happy with how X-Men kind of dealt, like with how Sony dealt with X-Men. It's because they changed it so many different ways just to suit their version of a story. That's not really a version of the story.
Yeah. Like it was good. Like
they're good movies on themselves, but they probably could have done this without having to take in, like they could have used different characters if they planned on doing it that way.
I enjoyed First Class and I really enjoyed Days of Future Past, but after that, for me, it just went downhill. And I mean, like their last film that they had, the Dark Phoenix, absolutely atrocious.
Oh, I loved it. I thought it was so good.
Oh no.
I don't think there has actually been one X-Men movie where I've said I do not like it. Every single one of them, the minute they've been out, they've just all been brilliant.
It's like I'm far more picky, I think, with X-Men. I find issue with everything on them.
It transitions me into it as well, because you go from First Class and then you knew the eventual, like, okay, Days of Future Past, like the concept for it, like just from the title alone is fantastic. If you're a fan of the 90s, like if you'd watched the TV series, they've done a 4 or 5 episode run on the Days of Future Past, like storyline. And you're gonna have a live action movie about it. So the idea for that and the hype was well warranted. The movie on it wasn't completely like great. Like I liked it, but I thought it was very bleeding dark as well.
Sorry, I'll be back in 2 seconds. Sorry, keep talking. Sorry, I'll be back.
Like very dark, which I didn't mind. Surprising turnouts for certain characters. Like everyone's dying. People are just getting killed left, right, and center. But I found it better when I found out there was basically an extended edition, which was the road cut.
Yeah.
And then when you watch that, it explains things a lot better.
Okay.
Like it only changes like a couple of little things, but they're vital to how the story progresses and why certain things happen.
And why did they not release that as the one?
I don't know. I think it was just to do with the time, like the running time for the cinema.
Okay.
Like Sony and Marvel have a tendency of doing that. Like they might just like release a film, just to get it out there, and then make money off the.
And then release another one.
Like that's also what can cause a lot of films to be universally panned. And best example of that is Daredevil, the movie. Daredevil was completely panned like when it came out. But when you watch the director's cut version, it's a half hour of extra footage, but it makes it a complete film. And you enjoy it better.
All right, okay. I didn't know that.
Key points are actually explained. It's not like, why are these two meeting up? Like, what's going on? Like it explains everything. Like there's a
All
little
right, okay.
plot that explains everything. But with Days of Future Past, having the roll cut explains why. So like we've seen it. Like Wolverine ends up like accidentally stabbing like Kitty,
Mm.
and like didn't know her powers were fucking to send you back. But with the road cut, they're trying to find a way to get back there. Who can they use? Rogue. She can take people's abilities.
Yeah.
Like Kitty isn't strong enough to hold like to keep up her powers to keep Wolverine back in that timeline.
Right. Okay.
So it's a subplot of them breaking in to the Sentinel Fortress, breaking Rogue out, and then she's the one that's actually helping further the story.
Oh, okay.
She's taking Kitty's power and using it because she's stronger
Yeah.
and she's not dying of a stab wound.
Yeah. Anybody be stronger if you're not after being stabbed.
Yeah. Wolverine has a tendency to do that. He just stabs people.
Yeah, he does.
He's like,
You
he's
think
that
people
cop
learn not to
in
stab
like
people?
he's that cop in every kind of generic cop movie. Shoot first, ask questions second.
Yeah.
Like you can't keep doing this, man. Like when he's babysitting the school, the children in the school, and he's like, "There's no beer in this place. It's a school,
Yeah,
dude. Like, why would there
school,
be beer?"
like-
But like his first thing, he hears a noise. His first offense is like to whip out the blades. And it's like, you're about to stab a student, okay? You need to calm down.
Yeah, and there's kids here who are like kids.
It's like, it's a legit child, okay? He was dropped off at the door just this morning, and you've killed him. Logan,
Well
we need to
done.
discuss,
Nice one.
okay? How are we going to explain this at the next parent-teacher meeting?
Like with the First Class and Days of Future Past, they also they incorporate Wolverine in it. Like he's only in it for a brief moment in First Class, where they're trying to recruit people for the new school.
Yeah.
He's
tells him to
legit
fuck
at the
off.
bar.
Like walks in.
Yeah.
Like, I'm Charles Xavier. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They walk off. But they tie back to it in the next one, where like Wolverine goes to,
And he's like, I'll tell you what you told me. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah. Which is great. It's just a great callback to it. And then obviously you knew the tease was coming for the likes of Apocalypse at the end of Days of Future Past, but I didn't particularly like Apocalypse.
What was your problem with Apocalypse?
Just didn't like it. I think it was because
Kayla's like about to fucking defend X-Men like I defend fucking CCK. This is unreal.
God damn it. There's problems with them all.
This is what it's like. I never knew what it was like to be on the receiving end of one of these anger issues, but now I see it, I'm like, Jesus Christ.
I asked the question. I didn't mean it to come out angry.
No, but like
No, I'm the exact same. I need to apologize to Foxy and Jonathan off camera at a later date over this.
but I think because I knew Apocalypse was coming out, because anyone that stayed and watched the end of the credits knew straight away, shit, this is Apocalypse. This is gonna be good. But kind of the same thing. Like you get too much into the hype about what it could be, and then what you're given isn't what you're expecting.
Yeah, I just think that's what most people's problem is they know too much and they're like, this is gonna happen and that's gonna happen. That's not gonna happen.
That's
and then the people just get disappointed.
I was more excited about the idea of it because I know Apocalypse is a major character, like a major villain. Like he's like immortal, basically. He keeps coming back. They just can't get rid of him. It's like a bad disease. But no, like one thing I did like throughout those First Class era is the recurring theme of Quicksilver slowly but surely building up.
To tell Magneto that he was his son.
Yes.
Brilliant. So
I
good.
thought that was a fantastic little subplot. But that was also the showcase as well. His scene. It's like, what's gonna happen now? What's he gonna do? Like
Yeah.
it it was just a good way of introducing him. And in fairness to him, like it's Evan Peters, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Murder House. Yeah.
good job. Like he had charisma to like hold that
Oh,
character.
it was just, it was, I prefer his Quicksilver over Marvel's Quicksilver any day.
Yeah, like if I was going by like character wise, yes, Evan Peters' version would win out. But I wanted to see where like Aaron Johnson's version would
Oh,
be.
yeah, definitely.
I would have really liked to see how that played out.
Yeah, I didn't like how they killed him off. I would like to see more of him.
See,
Yeah.
that's what annoys me about it. It's like, why bring, like, doesn't at that point there would literally, he's only brought in just to be killed. I actually just wanted to give a quick look at something, because do you know the way Disney went off on a mad one and bought everything? They went Vince McMahon and they bought up everything, right?
As they do.
X-Men, the animated series.
Yes.
X-Men Day of Futures Past, The Last Stand, Origins Wolverine, Dark Phoenix, and then the original X-Men movie are the only ones that are actually available to watch.
What, on Disney Plus?
Yeah.
For
So
now.
they're missing.
They're missing
A lot.
X2. Yeah. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's only 5 movies. And then for some reason, 3 men and a baby and 3 men and a little lady also pop up on that one.
Men.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? I don't remember this version of X-Men. Professor X, Wolverine, and Magneto. I think they're bringing up a baby Cyclops by the looks of things. Who knows?
Oh, lovely. That sounds very fun.
I'd watch that movie.
I would watch that
I would
movie.
watch that movie.
be a
I
good
would
one.
actually. I would watch that movie.
Imagine
Actually, now
trying
that I think about
to
it.
mind that child and keep its eyes closed. Like, keep
Yeah,
your eyes closed.
like that would actually be hilarious.
That would be very good.
Like, just as you said that, like I pointed you to this as well, Amy. The X-Men, the
Yes.
parody series. It's fantastic, isn't it?
What's this?
I don't know if you obviously you haven't seen it, but there's a series on YouTube, and it's
Yeah.
called X-Men, EX,
Oh, okay.
And it's
basically,
Professor X firing.
you on different characters,
Yeah,
and
it's very good.
firing or just ripping them to shreds.
That's very good.
He does. There's an excellent one. The one with him and Magneto is very
Yeah.
good. They were like constantly trying to one up each other, and the one where he ends up firing Jean Grey is also very funny.
Oh, that sounds really good.
They are very good.
I'm gonna
If we,
like go watch it because you're in for a treat.
I will find. Yes, there's a playlist on YouTube that has like every single one of them, but we'll find one of the links and we'll post it in the description. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh no. You sent me the link. Don't forget, you actually sent me one of the links.
No.
I'll find it and I'll send on to our producer. He's unseen. The dick, and we'll get him to make sure it's in the description for the video. It's very
Like, that's a nice little side note, like for like
for very good ones.
If you're fans of X-Men and you're looking for a good parody, this is a very good parody.
Yes, this is the one to find. Definitely.
Apocalypse didn't really like, and I seen Dark Phoenix back in January. I did not like it. I did not like it. It just it had the makings of being potentially very good. Like, it did have the makings of being very good. It's just that their delivery with aliens.
The only problem I had actually with that movie was who they got to play Jean Grey.
Why, like?
Because I just think she just had no facial expressions, and she just literally stood there and went.
Same face all the time. Yes.
Yeah, like, I think they could have picked some. Like, she was great in Game of Thrones, but she just wasn't great in X-Men.
I think she was trying to play the same character, just in it.
Yeah.
It's like, I'm Sansa Stark.
No, it's not
I
working.
will be queen. You're Jean Grey. I will be queen, but I get that. Okay, that's fine, Sophie. But you're playing Jean Grey.
Yeah, I will be queen.
Okay, we need to take
Just
away.
let her be
We're
queen.
just
Just let
going
her
to
be
take
queen.
away the
Oh,
wolf.
nothing.
Okay, we're getting rid of the dire wolf, and we're going to give you a phoenix instead, so you can rise from the ashes as queen. Yeah, sure, whatever the fuck. Yeah, she's queen.
Yeah, just give it. Just.
Someone
That
get
was
her
the only
Jonas
problem I had
brother
with that.
on the set, and maybe then she'll fucking act it. She is married to a Jonas
Yeah, and she has a baby for him now and all.
for him. I loved what you said. She's a baby for him.
She's a baby for him.
With him.
Sure, she does.
With him.
With him.
She's a
Well,
baby.
he died and she had it for him.
Like, obviously, like that would be considered like the main continuity of the X-Men films. Now, obviously, you had your spin-off, so like from Wolverine Origins, then you had the Wolverine, and then finally you had Logan, which we talked about a little bit, which was great send-off, but also great piece of finality to Wolverine and Hugh Jackman and the overall.
Nah, they should have let him live forever.
No, to be spoiler alert. Okay, you're gonna cry, but like you're due to cry at that one. Man needs a break. It's been 17 years in
No,
our
he
lifetime.
doesn't.
It's in our lifetime. It's been 17 years.
Yeah, no, he did it so long.
Okay,
I just
Logan.
wasn't ready for it. Okay, I just was not ready
Like,
to see that.
Man needed to rest.
But then put him to bed instead of doing what they did to him.
He actually holds a 93% fresh rating on Rotten Tomatoes.
like with
Which is quite good.
with that film like being so good as well, yeah, like it's definitely worthy of being a standalone movie.
Yeah.
Opposed to, oh, this is a little spin-off. No, this is its own.
Yeah, that is very much a standalone movie, and it works so well.
With that, you have basically the end of the X-Men films for now. Whereas with down the line, we will be introduced to mutants, and eventually X-Men will be making its way to the MCU.
Yeah.
I am excited about. I love the theory though that I'd read online about the fact that the snap has accelerated mutants.
Yeah.
In the universe, like they were always there. It's just that they weren't front and center, and then the radiation from the snap brought that back. Now they're going to become more prominent in the MCU.
Well,
this should be good anyway.
This is from Screen Rant. So the MCU theory. So X-Men's Rogue is Captain Marvel 2 villain.
Oh.
So Rogue, prominent member of the X-Men, is rumored for Captain Marvel 2, and here's why she could work as a villain in the upcoming sequel. So there's rumors already gone through it now that she may actually be the villain in Captain Marvel, which could work.
Mm.
Live action version of Rogue. This is basically
Captain Marvel is the first mutant in the MCU. There's also another theory.
Is she a mutant?
It makes sense. I mean, she's either a mutant or a fucking alien.
As a mutant, though, that's what I'm trying to think.
I would be more like alien.
Because she then got blasted by like a radiation, but she adapted to it as opposed to dying. Like she should have died. So that's where the theory is spawned from, is the fact that like she's always been a mutant. It's just that now it's after getting a jump start, basically.
All right. Okay.
So now whether that's true remains to be seen. But like that's one of the theories that are floating around as well. I am excited about it. Like obviously they've been talks about like Hugh Jackman handpicking who he wants to be the next Wolverine. I know Tom Hardy was heavily rumored for that one,
Yeah.
which
I think they should just follow on with the little one.
I wouldn't have a problem with Tom Hardy actually. Some were saying what's a Eastwood, what's his name?
Scott Eastwood.
Scott
is that one?
Eastwood.
Not Eastwood. Like some were saying
It was like Clint is a bit too
Like, no,
old for
he's a
this.
bit old for it now.
I mean, he's better chance of being like the Crypt Keeper than being Wolverine. And then I remembered he actually had a son who was an actor.
Yeah.
And the stamp of him.
Very much so.
Like it allows like the rumor with like the wheels to keep turning. It's like, what if this person has this? What if this person has this character? Like, who be good? Well, we don't know.
Yeah,
But
it's
Marvel have proven their worth basically with in terms of their casting. So I trust them with who they bring forward.
Definitely.
high hopes for it, I do.
The X-Men have been around for so long. It's hard not to actually enjoy it, whether it be comics or the movies, or like most people be into the movies. Now, others would have grown up with the cartoons, and others with comics, like the original comics going forward. Now, also, like there's some video games as well. I don't know if you remember there was a X-Men game for the 90s, like for the Sega Mega Drive, where you could actually play as you could play as like Nightcrawler, Gambit, Wolverine, or Cyclops. Like they were the four main characters.
Wow, that's a
Hold
variety.
on a second. That seems very familiar.
Basically, the levels were different iterations of Danger Room, and they were based off different worlds in the X-Men universe. So like the Savage Land or otherwise, or like Days of Future Past, things like that.
Oh, I need to hit up my brothers because that does seem very, because we definitely had the Sega, so I just thought that sounds very familiar.
Good. Like, obviously, it was the first time you could actually play as the characters with their abilities.
Yeah.
Just like for me, the idea of playing as Nightcrawler and doing his teleport, like just bump, bump, bump.
Over the place.
Or what Gambit with is like his playing cards, just using them as torpedoes, basically.
I know we had our favorite characters at the start, where it was Gambit, Rogue, and Storm. But I'm just curious, which mutants, like if you could have like a mutant power, what mutant power would you want?
Oh, that's a hard one.
There's it's a tie between Nightcrawler's teleport and Xavier's mind read.
Interesting. Technically, it's a mutation. Like, look at it this way: it's a mutation. So, if you want to have both of them, you can have both of them in a sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I was to pick between two, it would be Storm or Jean Grey's.
God, the two of you are mad for the old fucking mind control here, aren't you? Jesus Christ.
Well, Jean's is actually like she can move things as well as be a psychic.
Yeah, I mean telekinesis.
Like,
yeah,
Xavier's only his mind. He can only like
can just fuck with everybody. Yeah, like I mean those moves would be fucking horrific. I think I wouldn't mind. Like Jesus Christ, like I'll be honest with you. If I was gonna have anyone's like fucking powers on this one, I wouldn't mind having Rogue's powers to an extent, but I don't know. I think I'd have more fun with Jubilee's.
Jubilee gets a bad rap. I think like that was a good character.
I'd like to have her mutations because honest to God, like I mean I'd turn into one hell of a fucking pyrotechnic. Have a Gambit on the side and being like, here, you flip the card and I'll do the thing. Like Hi, hello, welcome to Britain's Got Talent. What's your name? My name's Amy. This is Foxy. What are you gonna do? We're gonna blow your fucking mind, all right? Get the deck of cards. You've seen magic tricks. You've seen a magic trick. We're gonna blow your mind.
Chris Angel ain't got nothing on this. Mind freak. I don't know why I just
like fucking like what's his name? Oh god, fucking angel wings. No,
Chris Angel.
Is it just at Warren Worthington at them? Ben Foster in the movie. Anyway, like literally.
Warrington.
Yeah, Warren.
Yeah, it was like something Warrington the third or something.
Yeah, that's it. Warren or something. Just imagine we've done the card trick. I've set fire to the stage, and then all of a sudden, all of us with the fucking angel wings. Now, get out of here.
Wings.
Yeah, no, I'm curious. It's one of those things that's like always like everyone's like, oh, what superpower would you have? I'm like, nah, screw this. What mutation would I want from the X-Men? This is the real thing now where I want. But yeah, I think we covered the movies.
Yeah, definitely.
I just think it was easier to talk about the movies because you're guaranteed.
Yeah, you're so it is on some of them. Yeah, on some of them you are kind of more guaranteed. If with regards to the comics, if you are going to like hit up some of the comics on this one, I do recommend the Marvel Zombie ones purely because the X-Men are just fun, brilliant. I love the way, especially how they do Wolverine. I think it is done excellent. So you have Deadpool in it as well, which is, to be honest,
everybody loves Deadpool.
Yeah, he is someone that probably should have a bit more with regard to this one, but I think he deserves his own.
Yeah, he deserves his own video. There's so much. He's done so much.
Deadpool's history, I think.
We're trying to give people recommendations. Then, in regards to the comics, obviously, like I talked about, like the movie iteration, but also made brief reference to Days of Future Past in the comic. Like the actual comic story is fantastic. You also have House of M, which is a major like storyline involving Magneto. You also have Apocalypse as well.
There is actually
Apocalypse or otherwise. Like there's multiple stories for Apocalypse. There's a couple with Mr. Sinister.
I'm actually
they tend to be very good, very dark stories. But
there is another one. I'm actually trying to. I just want to get the actual which one it was. Because it's Gambit's kind of like it's a nice Gambit story arc. I just want to actually get the name of the comics, especially when he was dealing with the death. Yeah, spare me 2 seconds. Because actually, I think he for his entire actual comic story well with the whole thing, it actually works really fucking well when he turned into Death. I think he like it's an excellent with especially with the part with Rogue as well. Kind of the way it works. I just need to find the fucking name of the bloody collection editions. But he does actually have his own fucking whole. Do actually have the volumes. They actually have mini series for him. So you've got the Gambit versus Gambit and Rogue. You have the classic Gambits volume 1 and 2. Wolverine and Gambit. Deadpool versus Gambit, which is it's only 5 issues, but it's very good, and you can get the collection of it. Hit Easton's up because Easton's have a collection of the actual collections, which is really good. Right? They have the entire. They'll have fucking every volume that you're like kind of looking for. Easton's have it in there. Do you know when you go downstairs to the area 43?
Area 52.
Like Area 52, sorry, yeah. And 43. What the fuck, Amy? But yeah, if you go have a look in there, they have them all in it, and it is class. Yeah, highly recommend. I recommend the Gambit. Love Gambit.
What about yourself, Kayla? Do you have any recommendations?
For the comics?
Yes.
Yeah, no. I wouldn't know the comics like you'd know them. So
Like,
Call yourself a fan.
yeah, well, I know you can't. I did tell him, Johnson, before that I will just jump in with what I know. I will not claim to know any more than what I think I do.
That's fair.
Fine. That's fine.
I'm just here for the show.
We're so happy that you could actually come and join us. I'm now literally on the Easton's website for the collections.
Oh, God's sake.
But if I can find them, I can send them to my brothers to get them for Christmas.
You could, you know.
Hint,
Shop
hint, this is what I
locally,
would like.
Yeah.
I've already done that with like a few things, so why not do it with this one as well?
Well, obviously, as we come to a close, like we've given you some of our recommendations. We'd like to hear yours as well. So if you have other recommendations, please send it to us. Like, we'll be happy to hear. If you agree with what we said, like, let us know. Or if you disagree, we want to hear. Like, comment down below. Thank you to Kayla for coming on yet again and helping us with it.
I wouldn't say help now. I think I was just wanting to fill in, really.
No,
Show now.
don't. No, that's not true. She's fucking on to us, Foxy. She's on to us. Oh my god.
Get out, quick, run,
Oh my
run.
god, I wasn't expecting her to actually like pull us up on our bullshit. What do you mean I'm on?
But no, like, if you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. Comment down below. Like, it does actually help out the channel. Hopefully, like, you'll see us on follow us on Twitter. Like, just went blank. At Nerds Are Us 3 on Twitter. You can also find Kayla on our social medias, Amy on our social medias, and
On his social media, but you can also go on to Foxy Bros as well for all your nerd collective needs. You can see a small collection that he has in the background, and if you just Foxy, there's a whiteboard there just to the side. Will you just pull that up for a second and just put it up to the camera? Yeah, so all you like, literally, yeah. Now DM Foxy, don't DM me. But yeah, you can
or
DM him.
Or me.
Yeah, just Foxy, just slide into Foxy's DMs, okay?
Slide down in there.
I will actually say this as well. The delivery times for majority of stuff that I've bought off Foxy Bros has been excellent. I got a fat ass Pikachu sent out.
5 out. How many stars out of 5?
Oh, 5 out of 5.
Oh, lovely. There you go.
He's off the Stargaze, but yeah, highly recommend. It's been fun, guys.
And
that was eventful.
Thank you for everyone that joined us, and we shall see you in the next one.